Hi, Carrie. How are you?
Great. How are you doing?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Thanks for taking my call. My sister and I've got a kind of question about reverse mortgages. My sister and I were signed over my parents' house when we were younger because my parents were both getting sick, and they signed the house over to us for us to be sure that it was ours if something were to happen to them. However, since then, my mom and dad are now separated. My mom lives in Charlotte, and my dad now lives in the house that my sister and I have our name on. And my dad has life tenancy. And with that, he's supposed to be taking care of the taxes, the mortgage, and the taking care of the house in general. However, we just got a letter in the mail saying that he has not paid the taxes this year, and that he was asking for our help. But my sister and I neither of us are in any financial state to help him. Taxes are about $4,000. And he has gotten a lawyer to kind of write these letters back and forth to us.
Why?
Why?
Why is a lawyer handling something between you and your father?
Exactly. Needless to say, my dad is 73. He's not in good health. And more than likely the best thing for him to do, in my mind, is for him to downsize and not have to take care of the land that we have and the house anymore. But he wants us to sign the house back over to him and get a reverse mortgage. And up until this point, we have said no, because I've read all of your articles on it. I know it's not a great idea, but he is convinced that it is a good idea, and unfortunately, now we're in a position where something has to be done.
Well, so you either have to participate in madness, or you have to have conflict.
Right.
There's not any options, is what he's putting on the table, and
right.
So you just got to decide which one you want to do. Because there's no way I'm signing. I mean, if you sign it over to him, he puts a reverse mortgage on it. That's participating in madness, and you're just washing your hands and walking away. Now, the other problem you have is you have tremendous gift tax and estate tax, potential estate tax problem as well. And I suspect they did not do this properly when they signed it over to you to start with. That there probably was no gift tax addressed at that time. And so this transaction is probably still hovering out there as done poorly. See, you can't just sign your house over to somebody unless you file some paperwork called the Unified Estate Tax Credit and use part of your estate tax credit. Otherwise, it's liable for gift tax. And so if they just up and signed it over to you, if he has a life estate, I assume attorney produced it. Hopefully the attorney knew to do it properly, in which case the only way you can now give it back to him is use up part of your estate planning. So it affects your estate plan in the future if you do this. What's the property worth?
Without getting various items fixed, probably $180,000.
Okay. All right. Well, it just depends on how much you want to fight about it. You're going to have to see a tax professional to get the tax opinion if you want to deed it back to him. You're going to have to get some tax input because you could really cost yourself like $30,000 in order to deed this back to him randomly. If you do it if you do it improperly, if you just sign a deed and hand it back to him, you're going to get nailed with gift tax. So you've got to see a tax professional, preferably a tax attorney or a CPA, to get some on that side of it. That part aside, now what's the principle? The principle is then you've either got to say, okay, I'm guessing it doesn't sound like you guys have a great relationship.
No.
Okay.
I have tried, and I'm closer to him than my sister is.
Okay. So the chances of you and your sister sitting down over the kitchen table and going to the expense and the trouble of doing that, and going there and sitting down face to face and looking at him, going, Dad, this is a bad idea. Instead, let's sell the property and let's move you into a condo, and do that. Then we'll participate in that. But the chances of you actually talking him into that are about zero, because he's already got attorneys sending you letters.
Right. And actually, due to him not paying the taxes or taking care of the house, it has come to our attention that we can sell the house now.
Well, you may have to get a court's permission to do that. You may have to have somebody actually invalidate the life estate. Because there's a life estate filed as a cloud on the title, and in order for a title company to write a title insurance policy, they've got to see something that proves that life estate's been removed. So you're probably going to have to go to court to get that removed. But you probably could. There's probably grounds for that, because he hasn't upheld his part of the deal, is what you're saying.
Right.
And so, but yeah, you're going to have to go to court to cause that to happen. And then you could sell the property straight out. Now, your basis in the property for tax purposes is whatever he paid for it at the time. So you're going to have capital gains on all of that. So if he paid very little for it, you're going to have capital gains on almost the whole thing. So this is a tangled mess. I don't know what to tell you to do. But you're either going to have to just do what he wants to do and hand it back to him and just dust your hands off, right? Just go, that's it. I'm washing my hands of this. Or you got to really go down there and try to do what's right for him and what's the right thing to do instead of participating in his madness. But as you do that, you and I both know that's going to involve conflict.
Right.
And so when you take a principled stand on something, so that's what we're looking at here. And I guess you got to decide how much of this you want to do as an act of love towards him, and just as an act of principle, how much of these boundaries do we want to set?
Right.
So even if the conflict involves just going to court to get the ruling on the life estate is invalid now, and so now you can just sell the house, which puts him basically in the street, there's obviously conflict there. You're getting ready to evict your father into the street at that point. And you could use some of the money to house him or something if you wanted to, but he's not going to like any of that, so conflict's there. So you just got to decide, do we want to have the no conflict and let him do the wrong thing and we just walk away, turn a blind eye to it, or are we going to stand in here and fight our way through this family toxic mess? And it's sad that he's putting his own daughters through this. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.